Marduk is the first son of Yahweh. He is there, is known. He has his statues. He has his records. His record of where he reigned, where he defeated, what caused the war. And he was alive during the time they were alive physically during the time of Abraham. Maybe you watched all those movies, the South American movies, where you climb like 50 or 100 steps. They're now going to sacrifice. You know, most of those buildings will be high and they will not have flat platform.
Yes, where
those were where the gods
live, and they offer their blood and hearts to them.
What were they giving the gods?
Oftentimes blood and human heart.
So that's what you watch in those movies around the Incas doing sacrifice. But in the olden days, you take your grain, you take your sheep, you take your goat or whatever, and your fruits, your first fruit, where you take it to? To house of God. He collects it physically. It was later when we didn't see them, we started offering it to them in forms of sacrifice. But then you take it live, you can't drop it. So they recorded it now. The Sumerians wrote about it. The Babylonians. So that's why I said this is the religion is either what can guide you. And so you know what's the end point of all these things? Heaven. Okay, you don't need to know. It's a waste of time to know who Yahweh truly is. What's all this nonsense of Enki? What's all this talk of Enlil? What's all this talk of Ishtar? What's all this talk of Ninasa? They all have their names. Marduk is the first son of Yahweh. He is there, is known. He has his statues. He has his records. His record of where he reigned, where he defeated, what caused the war. And he was alive during the time they were alive physically during the time of Abraham. So we read a portion of the Bible where it talks about meeting Melchizedek. They said he was a king and a priest, because usually you can't have a king, you can have a priest. A priest of what? A priest of temples now. So you have the temples.
Priest of the Most High.
Yes. So where are the temples? Or what were the temples used for? What were the pyramids used for? They were communication centers. They were like antennas for their travels, for location, perfecting location, coordination. That's why they had them. And that's why in the Bible you always have references to mountains and hilltops, because that's if they want to go somewhere, they'll have to use direction. If you've ever been on the plane, you're always on the plane now. You know that the pilots, they know their route. Why do they know the routes? Because there are satellites that are pinpoint locations.
Coordinates.
Coordinates. So those things are coordinates. And they were communication centers to other planets. So in one of those books, I think it was in Elimeli, she was recorded how the pyramid in Egypt, Pyramid of Giza particularly, was destroyed and who destroyed it. They wrote it as clear as can be. The emeralds, the crystals, Mercury that we are only just discovering. We only discovered Mercury sometime. They wrote it clear what it was used for. It was a communication, a beam of communication, because it was not natural. They had to build it and put those things there. And when they had a problem with Marduk ran there. They wrote it there now. The families fought, the two families. Enki's family, where Enki has Marduk and he has like 5 more brothers. Enlil has his first son and he has like 6 more brothers and sisters. So they're all fighting themselves. They wrote how they went to chase Marduk into the pyramid and how that one destroyed everything there and locked Marduk there to die. And how his father came to rescue him. So all those digging of holes under the pyramid, scientists have seen it. They've used X-ray to X-ray the pyramid. They don't understand how come these things are well structured like this, and then this was an addition. This hole here it doesn't look. And they wrote it 6,000, 7,000 years ago that one person was locked in there. The rest of the aliens wanted to kill him because he ran, and they blocked. The pyramid was sealed until recently, in the last 40 years or so. before scientists eventually opened the pyramid. Because it was sealed. And those ones said they sealed it. And how that one escaped the underground, scientists can still see the digging chamber. So would you believe that or not? So so God is God in his mysterious form.
I was just going to say that there's the mysterious form of God apart from
very wise, very as described. So I'm not talking about Christianity now.
Yeah.
So let's describe God from how they describe him.
Yes.
So they said first, he is the custodian of water and earth. Why? Because he's so smart, highly intelligent. Contemporary will call him a scientist. And everybody has their attributes. Some are engineers.
Science.
Yeah. So he is a scientist.
All knowing.
An explorer. He understands planetary movement. Very vast and crafty. So they always describe him as so they use the craftiness. Sometimes they'll depict him as the snake because it's wise. So in his wisdom, he believed that their elevation as them as deity, as Elohim, is to create man. And his brother, who was against the operation, was overruled because their father agreed to it. So they eventually created man. And man was moving, but man started to move too fast. They said man procreated too fast. They made noise, and Elohim just felt, no. We have to, this thing you've created, you've caused problem. And there are some things we cannot say for the sake of religion.
And all this is saying, this is philosophically from the book we read, from other beliefs, ancient beliefs.
Yes.
Ancient beliefs.
Written down, documented.
Yes, written down.
Recorded.
I've known you for years now, over, like we say, over 3 decades. And I've always known you to be a Christian.
Yes.
Which is another belief, another path.
Yeah.
Which obviously you can still trace. All this so-called religion path are traceable. There's a time to when it all started. That's why when you were saying all these things to that, like you see in the Bible, A.D., D.C., there are eras to things, or some would say dispensations.
Yeah.
Time. So yes, so with what you're saying, there was a time where I believe those who were on earth at that time, this was all what you were saying, perhaps supposed to be their own knowledge of relating to God, or their own adapted religion at that time. Where if we happen to probably meet those people now, let's say we just die now, meet those people and all that, and we're telling them of what we believe now, they probably will be arguing with us that no, we are wrong, that they are right. What is this one? Just like, for example, if you go to Israel, it's amazing that we just the same Bible we adore, and the Jews will tell you, what is Jesus?
They don't know that.
They will say they don't know. It's like, no, they don't even talk about Jesus. If it's Elohim, we don't even talk about him. They don't even refer him as God as we, and they still keep to their own tradition and all that. The same Israel today. Now, what baffles me is this, and that's why we're really talking about. And when it comes to religion, nobody should argue, because it is what you believe. Religion is about what's your view, what's your take. And so people argue about religion is silly, because everyone have the right, you get, to have a take of what they think as far as they think. Okay. Now, if you now look, for example, what we're saying now, is it then a religion that God is looking for, or a relationship? Because now, for example,
Both.
yes, you being a Christian, that I know, let's say I'm a Christian, but if they ask me what I don't, religion, we know better than religion now, you understand? So if they say, okay, if they will talk about where we follow, it's okay, these Christians, I will now redefine and say, but I work on a relationship with God. Now, the Bible do define me as a Christian as the one who is Christ-like, who live their life after the doctrines and the teachings of Christ, the pathway of Christ. So yeah, from that definition, from the relationship with God through Christ, I will accept myself as a Christian, but not call me a Christian and don't break it down to me why I should be called a Christian. No, I want to see there's a link there, So now, even with that, with the Christianity we have today, like Paul was saying, is Christ divided? You have all kind of divisions, all kind that will even make me listen to what you're saying. All kinds.
So let me tell you, there are 2 billion Christians, 1.8 billion Muslims, over 1 billion Hindus, over 800 million Buddhists, and many more. So let's go to 2 point something billion Christians. There are over 50,000 sects of Christianity. Well, no, I didn't say 5,000, 50,000 different. Guess what? We know we have the Pentecostal. Do you know how many sects of Pentecostals that we have? There's a Protestant. There was a reason why they're called the Protestants. Some people decide to be the apostolics. Some became the evangelical.
With different doctrines and beliefs.
Yes. So that is alone. So you ask the question, which is very profound. So is God religion? Yeah, yes. Your kid, what do you tell your kids when they are small, especially in Africa and Nigeria in particular? You tell them about Ojuju. No, don't go inside that place. Ojuju go. Is Ojuju coming?
No.
So what did you do as a parent? You just guided your child by a lie. Well, do we call it a lie? It's not a lie, is it? But you just conditioned him not to do what he's not supposed to do. To get them excited, they're very happy once December is approaching. You know why? Because Father Christmas is coming from Rome. So that Father Christmas that you took your kids to go and watch, if you're in Nigeria, at the shopping mall, is it from Rome? But how did you take them there? With excitement. And what were you repeatedly telling them?
Yeah, that's the Father Christmas.
That came from where?
From heaven.
So what are you as a father? Did you lie? So it's not called a lie, right? It's called a conditioning. So that's what religion does. Religion conditions you to act in a certain way. So if you're asking me if it's a lie or it's not a lie, that's a subject for another day. So that's exactly what religion is. Do you know why it got so serious between the person that was... Okay, let's use Jesus, Abi, because I believe in Jesus.
Yes. So before we go further, so conditioning and relationship are different.
Absolutely different.
Because I agree with you, religion will condition you.
Sometimes, through religion, your relationship is going to be conditioned. The law that was given on to Moses, the law was not one law. If you read the Leviticus, they give them many laws. Under Leviticus 19 was where it says, do not mark your body.
Tattoo.
So that's what say tattoos, right? In just a few verses before then, it says, don't wear garments of different apparel. So you cannot wear cotton.
Mixed colors.
We don't even go to colors. You cannot wear linen on cotton based on instruction from God. That was a conditioning now.
And before Christ came, they were living by those, and if you break it, punishable.
So even got to a time they were even breaking it. It was the law.
Fence law.
So they now put the law under 10. Don't forget that the reason why the law was even broken, that Moses destroyed it, was because they went to worship Baal. So you're telling me, so Baal was a representation of an antagonist to Yahweh. So anytime Baal comes up, it always vexes. So yes, conditioning is religion. So it's left for us to accept it or not accept it. But religion permits you, even relationship permits you to accept it. Just like you tell your child that You are Ojuju and Bear just to scare him, to condition him to align.
To fear.
Because you like the person. Now, when Moses was taking the Israelites,
Another word, boundaries.
so the Israelites were coming out of Egypt. Listen to this story with an open mind. We'll probably check the Bible again. 19. They are coming out, and then God called Moses. You know what he told Moses? I want to talk to my people. I've been talking to you. I want to talk to them one-on-one. To show you that God was not coming in spirit. Everyone will see, whether you've seen, whether you are small, whether you are young, as long as you have eyes, you will see him, you will hear him. He now gave him instructions. Tell the men to seclude themselves, tell them to wash their clothes, give them condition. I'm God. So when they are coming, they will physically prepare. He didn't tell them come tomorrow. He said he will come in 3 days. You know that's conditioning. He can actually come immediately now, but some will just buy. You understand? The shock. So he conditioned them for 3 days. He now said when he's coming, he will blow a trumpet or horn. May I believe in the horn? That when he's coming, they should now come to Sinai. He now give them conditions. He says, when you come to the mountain, do not touch the mountain. Don't go near it. Just observe. You understand?
Yeah.
You know what he told them? He said if anyone touches the mountain, they will be shot through. Shot.
So he told them.
Shot. That's a physical
Condition. Strict one.
I will shoot you. Maybe with a bow and arrow, maybe stick. Shoot. It's there in the Bible now. Now, they eventually came.
Like the Ark of Covenant. You touch it, you die.
You die.
Instantly.
So guess
You
what?
enter the holies of holies without following the rules. You die instantly.
Guess what? Third day, as promised. Ping, ping, pa, 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 pa.
Dead.
They said it grew louder. As he was approaching, it grew louder. So he obviously passed over their camp and now went to rest on the Mount Sinai. Then he now told them they can now come. That's conditioning. So they will be seeing him from far. They will not be coming. So me, I just imagine. So permit me, me, I'm imagining is a spaceship, like Elon Musk when he lands with his SpaceX.
Even sometimes I know it's crazy. Sometimes I begin because I know they're hiding this alien thing. These things are real.
They're not aliens. It was
But
was
they
a being that could fly.
define them for a scientific game.
Yes,
But they call it alien, but I think it's much more than that. It's still the same.
They said there was fire now coming from his exhaust now.
You know why I said that? God said there is nothing new underneath the heaven. Nothing new underneath the heaven. Because you actually saying a very important point, and I know it's debatable to most of my friends out there. But these things are true too. See, these are the things, because you still hold your thought where you were saying when you landed like on the Mount Sinai and all that too. Because you know what, with all these things, why is this knowledge very important? Okay, I know Solomon said, too much knowledge, too many troubles. I understand. But again, lack of knowledge too, it's not good enough. When you have certain knowledge, like you were saying now, either you want to look it from a religious perspective or relationship perspective, it enhances your approach in a way.
Thank you.
Are you getting what I'm saying to you?
I get it.
All that you're saying is because obviously I'm opening you up to tell me your core, but by your fruit, knowing you personally, I'm not saying you're perfect, but there's a reference to God in your life. You have a deep reference to God beyond.
I now understand God better.
I don't understand beyond any definition of classifying you under a particular church or saying it's one pastor that made him like this or one denomination. A personal knowledge, because all what this would do, no matter how deep you go back into it, one thing will be the output. It will make you come in how of all this God, because we're talking about something that we know we are not. If you were saying, okay, I am the God you're talking about now, so what? But you're talking about there is something out there bigger than what we think it is, and more wider. And oftentimes you will say, like the heavens is far from the earth. So I will say all these things you're saying fit in that box. Like the heavens is far from the earth, like the east far from the west. So my ways are not the ways of man. But unfortunately, ordinary man oftentimes want to put God in their own box of what they've known in just 40-50 years as a person without looking back.
As we leave this podcast, I'll drop a bomb. Yeah, why my belief in God is so absolute and so resolute, and why I don't have a choice but to honor Him, serve Him with all my might, with all my strength. So I haven't said that story and my own perspective to that based on my own understanding.
Yeah.
I can understand why things happen and why. So it's clearer to me. You know, it was because of this knowledge that I could understand Jesus better.
Same here.
Because I could not understand why Jesus kept having problems with the Jewish people. They wanted to stone him now. No once, no tries.
They even wanted to, before they eventually killed him, they attempted several times.
And it was the same thing he kept saying over and over and over. You know, when someone keeps saying over and over and he didn't change it, he didn't switch, he didn't try and dilute it, it's the same thing. So it now makes me believe those concepts that I didn't believe before. I could not conveniently say cloning before. To me, it was a mystery I could not understand, shrouded in spirituality, where they make it look as if this knowledge is spiritual, is for the occultic. No, it says common knowledge. It's even there in the Bible. Okay, this Exodus 19:20 that I'm reading, it was when I now read it again, I now started to have understanding. Shebi, it came down, it gave them all those conditionings now. You know what the final thing was? When he started to talk, everybody could hear him. So it's not like
from the cloud. It descended from the cloud. Only Moses could go. They even say Moses go to him. Only you. We can't approach him.
So it's there now. If they wanted to approach him, the reason why he was like he came lower. And me, I believe he was using a PA system because everybody could hear him. And you know,
in today's time,
yes,
but it was what was
they didn't know what he was. They just knew he was loud, and that's what could hear. And that's what scared them. It was there clear in the Bible. They were frightened. They called Moses and says, "It's enough. Don't worry." So this is what brought about the religion, no? Personal relationship with God. Don't worry, Moses. Let him be telling you.
Be telling us.
So whenever he tells you,
come and tell us.
Come and tell us. That's how that arrangement scattered. Guess what? After the arrangement in 21, 22, 20, if you read further, Moses called, God called, Yahweh called Moses back. Listen to this.
Posture in that place.
I don't want to lose that. Okay. Let me say it so you
yes, go ahead.
He asked Moses that, how my people, were they afraid?
That's what I want to say. Moses had a personal relationship with God, where the Israelite preferred religion.
Exactly. Moses, when even God, the conditional God gave them, so that they will know that He is God, He made it a bit more frightening for them. Should be when God is talking to Moses, He talks in low tone. You got Moses, I'm here, come and join me. Appear to Moses. Moses got a little scared, but later Moses knew that he just had respect for him.
Asked him, show me your face.
Yeah, show me your face. It wasn't scary now. I wasn't shouting now. But when he wanted to talk to the Israelites, he spoke loud. He horned where he landed well on the distance so they will see the smoke and the fire. He increased the accelerator. Made them feel out. Guess what? You know, when I saw that thing, I was like, you know, God, you know, like Midi Alpha. She, as I show, she that as they call me Don. When I show, she will try.
She will share about.
Yeah, she won't feel it. He's there in the Bible. She there feel her. Moses said, okay. Oh yeah, so those instructions.
Anything you tell them, you go
buckle. Yeah, put down like this, put down like this, put down like this. So it's a conditioning. But the day you realize
Religion is a condition.
is a conditioning. So the day you realize God and you have a personal relationship with God, you will understand God more. And guess what? It's not about riches. Understanding God is not about your breakthrough to riches.
Which today,
That's the
it is
common
today's
thing.
definition today, because of money.
I want to prosper.
Wow.
So there's the issue of afterlife. How come when God was walking with Moses, he did not explain heaven to Moses that, wait, oh, I'm coming back, or accept my son, no, so that you can go to heaven? Did he tell Moses that? Was there anything about Moses going to heaven in Exodus?
So started hearing that in the New Testament.
So the only person in
I
the Old
believe
Testament,
He had it hidden because the Old Testament,
but only him.
no, it's supposed to be New Testament concealed, and the New Testament is Old Testament revealed. You know, it's still
How many years between the Old Testament and the New Testament?
can be precise. But
About 1,000
well,
years.
It's in the continuity of manifestation.
I'm telling you, it's about 1,000 years.
Okay, so I'm only just but what you're saying, that everything is in continuum. It's in continuum, you know. And if just as even the Bible will link it by saying, even those in the Old Testament, they were looking up to the promises, which they say Christ now is now the promise, you know, that was given then, but they
33
didn't have a clear picture.
33 years AD,
Precisely.
precisely.
Yeah.
Let's say 32 years AD. Jesus had not died.
Sure.
Where was the way to heaven then?
It was by the way of the law given to them
Which
by
of
the
the laws?
Moses,
The 10 Commandments?
so to say, and the
They
one
flouted
added
it
to
all.
All of none can stand by the law, but later Paul said this was a schoolmaster to bring them into the path. But that was the measure given to them. If you do this, it was a measure of their righteousness which none could live with. None was even meriting it at all. But it was, like you said, it was the conditioning of the act given to them at that time.
So you know what I think?
Yes, because like see the time of David, God looks much more into the heart.
You know why I know the answer?
Yes.
Do you know why I know this?
Yes, tell me.
It's because I understand God more, and I understand the storylines from all the religions. Everyone has a piece, and everyone's holding on to that piece.
As their own absolute truth.
They've never
Bring
thought
all the puzzle
to
together.
actually bring it together.
That's why Paul said, and he said, we know in part now. Even all these things you're saying,
Do you know why there was a sacrifice?
but I'm coming. Even all these things you're saying, he said we know in part. What you're saying, I'm not disputing it. In fact, I'm learning as you're saying it. I'm gaining as you're saying it, because no matter what you say, you said, he's still also taking me deeper into knowing who God is beyond.
Do you know why
What
there's
that knowledge,
circumcision?
it's like, I understand all these things that you can even question, you know, you understand. But regardless of that, even now, let me tell you this. Now, touch wood, even say we have 40 more, 50 more grace to live as a person. By age of man, as the Bible says, 80, 90. You'd be surprised that when we're all gone, it will be another thing
That'll be happening.
that'll be happening. This is someone be saying this as a story, or this to be like, we will even know better. Like they were questioning Christ of Jesus. They say, we know of the Moses, we know of Abraham, and he was saying they were talking about me. It was me they were talking about. They said no, because they were tackling him of that time, of that his era. It's just like the Jew today is they were holding on to that piece of that puzzle. Religion wise now, you know, I'm speaking from the angle of religion now, and Jesus was answering them too, that you were so religious that you can't see what is happening in your midst right now. And one of the way he started pulling them to him by the signs and wonders, the miracle he was doing, it was one of the things he was saying, okay, number one, just the way you were saying nobody had any knowledge of evil, the same way that it was not written that demons were cast out.
But guess what?
Yes.
They
And I'm
had-
speaking in the line of what
they
he's saying
had
too.
absolute they had a convincing knowledge of heaven
For real?
beyond what you know.
Mean those in the Old Testament.
Yes.
Okay.
You know why?
Tell me.
Because some of them went to heaven and they wrote about it.
In the Old Testament.
Yes. Enoch.
It was taken, but it didn't come down. Sure.
Enoch went more than 4 times. You know why you thought he went and didn't come back? Because it was only written in a line. Enoch walked with God and God.
Yes.
Took
Even Elijah
Guess what?
taken to heaven.
Enoch went, came back. Went, came back. Went, came back. Enoch was the one that wrote the prophecy that there will be his great grandson called Noah. And he said, and he told Methuselah, when the boy eventually comes, don't disregard him because he's going to look mysterious. So Noah was born albino. He was born white.
Right there.
Yeah, it was different. This guy has written about it 3 generations before he was born. He went, came back. He explained it when he explained the whole thing. How come it's not common knowledge? How come those books exist? And go to Pope, go to Rome. They're in the libraries, the book of Enoch.
Hidden in the archives there.
Yes, because it's too mysterious. Why did they leave it out? Elisha, we went to Elijah.
Yeah. Taken to heaven.
How was he taken?
The chariot
Guess
of fire.
what? Was the child of fire? It's a spaceship now. It's a spaceship. Take it as I've said it. As mysterious, as ridiculous, as it sounds, is as simple as that. Where did he go to enter the ship? He went to the land of Tillman because he journeyed. And people in our day, in our days, olden days, Alexander the Great has traced that same waka, looking for the land of Tillman so that he too can fly. Why do you think the Egyptians are talking about life after death? They pursued it now. The likes
They
of
have an
Gilgamesh,
insight already.
Alexander the Great knows about this. He also wanted to go to the land of Tillman to go and dig the hidden archives where those things are. He too wants to fly. Now, who was Abraham? Abraham's father was Terah. Terah was a prophet, was a priest. Do you know what they call priests? Priests are people that serve the gods, either in their house or in their
temple.
or in their temple. You know what the temples are? Communication centers to their own planet, which we call heaven.
Heaven.
How did they get there? You think they were just disappearing? They were using. Why did they build the pyramids? These things are coordinations now, and they were coming up and down. And they wrote why they are not longer here. Some are still underground. They wrote it thousands of years. The Lord of the Underground has a name. But now Bible, you hear they say the prince of hell, underworld now. They've written that there's a opening in the North Pole. They've written 8,000 years ago. They've written about the mines in South Africa 8,000 years ago when South Africa did not exist. They've written all these things. So human beings now will just stumble into a place. You just see caves. Caves they have tunnels as big as Lagos underground. Who dug them? They've written about it now. That's where they. So Nagal, and his wife, they are the lords of the underground. They also told how some of animals were established, like the sheep, like the barley. Scientists have found out that the sheep and some other species of this four crawling, they traced their genome to one ancestor. I have a boabo.
A dog.
A dog, boabo. So you see people say we have a Rottweiler, we have German Shepherd, it's traced to one common ancestor, a fox.
A dog.
Yes.
The breed.
The breed. Now, there's nothing. Okay, you see lions, there's ligers now. Did they exist before? It's human beings that made liger.
Lion and tiger.
Yeah. They move like donkey. And so even now, we human beings, we've made other things far from. Guess what? The shocker is that there's going to be a time human beings will no longer die. Am I the one that said so? It sounds mysterious. Say, what's wrong with this donkey? Where did he go and read this one? He's in the Bible. It says you will live 1,000 years.
Yes.
It didn't say heaven, no. On this earth, 1,000 years. So something is, am I the one that said it?
They're all in Revelation.
It's there now, and it will happen.
That's why I said we know in part.
So why do I believe that we're going to live 1,000 years? Because the reason why we did not live 1,000 years, other texts have explained it clearly. It has to do with your essence. They didn't know, scientists did not know what DNA was until maybe 70 years ago. Humans did not see another planet. They only heard of spiritual awakening. But the Enoch, they've explained the planets. You know why? Because they've gone and gone more than once. And they've written it clear. Clear. They wrote it clear. They didn't just say it. They wrote it. Thousands and thousands and thousands of years. At least 4,000-6,000 years before even the Bible or Quran. And they explained why. So those explanations was what now made me have clarity on who Jesus is.
And so,
why he came to die. You know why he came to die?
tell me.
They said the sons of God slept with the daughters of men and bore children of God. They polluted the bloodline of humans. So apart from the fact that, like Yahweh claims or Enki claims, his essence, his DNA was part of things they used to create man, and they didn't make man once. They had failures until they eventually created the perfect man that could reason, that could talk and communicate. But they said he had only one. The difference between both of them was that he had a groove over his penis, which is circumcision. Many believed without circumcision until Yahweh says, okay, you know what? If you want to believe, because you are no longer believing in me, you have been fathered by other Elohims, you are following them, you start worshiping them, you are no more acknowledging me as the creator. Okay, let me choose a group of people. Let me even see if I can have my own people. Because all of them start having their own group of people now. So Baal has his own people. Eresh Kigel has his own people. Ishtar has her own people. They all start having their own people. And it's okay, you know what? Now, to acknowledge me as the creator, cut the groove. Circumcision. That's what brought about circumcision. Eventually, the thing went on. Even when Jesus came, it caused problem between Paul and Peter. Guess what? Why Jesus came to die?
What?
All bloodlines are now one. Whether you are born by Baal, whether you are the great grandson of Baal, are forgiving all the mistakes, all the plus humans. Council, Ojoro Council. So, if you like, talk say now Ifa of this in born you. Once you acknowledge God, you're good. Before there was segregations.
Once you acknowledge God and the person of who?
So it came as Jesus.
Good. So I need that needs to be clarified. Because once you acknowledge God in the person of Christ, you know, because now it's Christ we have to bring all to conclusion from all these things you're saying, you know.
Christianity,
yes,
from what Christ said, is now different from the religion called Christianity. So Christianity as a religion will now condition you in such a way to make it look as if is what Christ said. What Christ said is different from what you are now conditioning people to now own the religion. Do you understand? To own it. So he said he will send his spirit to us. So where is it? How are we manifesting that spirit? So we are not manifesting spirits. We are manifesting activity. We are manifesting conditioning. You know, one of the conditions he gave in the parable, one of the best parables he ever gave, was the story of the Good Samaritan.
Are you saying the Holy Spirit is not real?
It is real. That's what I'm saying. It's very real.
Okay.
But we don't even understand the concept of the Holy Spirit.
And
so you think that the Holy that maybe it's because of Christianity, perhaps Holy Spirit can operate. You think Holy Spirit needs an organized religion to operate.
Absolutely.
It can inspire anyone. That's where we're going to religion. Yeah?
Relationship.
So the relationship with God.
Yeah.
So we have now believed that it has to be under a condition. So that's what we believe. No. You know what Jesus told the story of the Good Samaritan? You know what he said? A man was injured. You know how priests are revered? You know what a priest is? A priest was ordained by Yahweh himself, God. Nain talk say that this person be priest. He now referenced, Jesus himself now referred to the priest going to the synagogue and condemned him. One, guess what the second was? You know, I use priest, Levi.
Said they are mine.
You be good. It says
all
the lineage of Levi,
they are mine.
They are mine forever. Who did he condemn in the Good Samaritan? The Levi. Why did he condemn the Levi? He didn't do what? He didn't show
love
to the person that needed help. Then Samaritans, Jews and Samaritans don't mix. In fact, on esoteric knowledge, if a Jew is here, a Samaritan enter, he will get up.
Taboo.
You will sit on this chair.
They don't.
So why did Jesus now acknowledge a Samaritan? Then we are now here, 1,800 or 2,000 years after Jesus has left. We have now turned it. And we now say the only way is through the priest. We now say the only way is through the guidance of the Levite.
So let me ask you, with this, because your knowledge, your vast knowledge on this subject is very, very vast, and it's very obvious. If time permits and opportunity permits, it's something that we have to visit again and again. Because I won't turn my deaf ears, and I won't get too familiar that because we're brothers and friends. I believe what you're reading because I know you search for knowledge. Not because you want to prove superior, but we have the right to know what is, especially when books have been written, and we know if these books are on everybody's shelves, it will be a common knowledge. Why are they eating those books? Sometimes, so when you lay your hands on some books and you read them, you have a different understanding, though it'll be weird to the person you're saying it to that I've not read it. Like, we've been all conditioned, so to say, averagely, except to digging for knowledge, to just read the Bible only, which is still okay. It's still a book. But also it's acceptable to read other books as long as you don't, and it won't stray you away from the fundamental truth of what is presented to you as a Christian. I'm speaking from Christianity now. Of course, we have other religions, so to say. But it's okay to read books, to be vast. Even God said, study yourself approved unto men. Now, this is saying to me now, one day, if you sit with other people too, Jesus did the same thing when he went to the temple. They were like, what? He studied himself approved. Like this, in fact, this prophecy is
about me
now.
It's manifested.
You understand? What he was saying then in the temple, just like you say now, some will be saying, well, as a matter of fact, only the priests have the access to the 10 Commandments. It was that. As in, you can't even have it. Now we have Bible everywhere. They only had the commandment then. Only the commandments kept in the temples, holies of holies. You only go on Sabbath day, they tell you what it is. In fact, you're going to check with the priest. Am I doing well with this commandment? They'll tell you, take it to us. You want me to die? Nobody can have it in their house with the conditioning around it. Even the priest too, the way they have to dress and so on and so forth. And that's why often statements used in today's time, grace and mercy. Like some will say, we're in a dispensation of grace, where those things as they were in the past is in a different form now. And that's why this relationship thing, it's very paramount to me. I have been a Christian all my life, born into Christian home, but my understanding of Christianity now is different from what was presented to me or from what I used to know when I have not picked up the Bible and read or examine things around and find the relationship with things.
Why is there heaven?
Heaven.
Why is there a salvation for heaven?
Salvation is
so that when you die,
yes,
your soul, as we say,
yes,
will go to another place.
Yes.
Whether good or bad. If
yes,
you are good, you will now be in heaven.
Heaven. And
so,
otherwise,
how are you going? do you have 5 senses? Yes, you do, as a human being. When you die, do you have 5 senses?
I think we're not in the body anymore, so the spirit is different.
So now, Elon Musk, as of today, can download your consciousness and put it somewhere else.
As AI.
And it will have the ability
to do the same thing.
Yes, of all your senses. So if Elon Musk can do it now, why don't we believe that your consciousness can be taken by who created you to a new place that we now refer to as heaven or second heaven or wherever, and download you
and
for you to live again?
There. That's why I say it's deep.
Do you know why I believe it? Because 8,000 years ago, they wrote that it was possible.
And now it is happening. It's not a reality in our eyes.
Lifetime.
So God said knowledge will increase in the last days, which is the time we have. To wrap this up, Dante, it's been an amazing topic that we can't even finish at once. But
why is everybody going to Jerusalem? The Christians went there, the Persians went there, the Ottomans went there, the Crusaders went there. Right now, as we speak, there's a mosque on the Temple Mount.
The same place where you have the...
You know why? That is the belly of the earth. One of the oldest transportation pathways.
To
where they come, like their international airports.
It's deep.
And they have this knowledge. They've had it since. That same place is where the Muslims are. That same place is where the Christians are. That same place is where the Persians are. The Ottomans went there. The Romans went there. They keep going there. That same place. And you should beg to ask questions. The relics of some of their spaceship is what is in Kaaba. They kept it. One of the relics that was removed from the pyramid are in holy sites. You don't know where you're going to those holy sites to do. Those are some of those things. No? It's as simple as that.
Let me ask you a question as running up. You're a Christian, right?
Yes. Absolutely.
All right. What's Christ to you?
Christ.
What's Jesus to you?
Because now I know. I will say it in a very funny way.
Okay.
Maybe it will take another 100 years before this thing becomes common knowledge, but it will eventually be. I believe that in contemporary language is somewhat like a clone. His personality and existence is that of a deity that existed before, because he said it clearly. I am him. He and I is one. I am the Father. Repeatedly. He said it so much that he too was tired of saying it. So that's why I believe who Jesus is. And that's why I believe in his salvation.
Okay. And has it power?
Absolute power.
Good.
The Creator. I've seen it manifest.
Good.
Yes. And do other people have their own kinds of powers in their own little way? Absolutely yes. And that was why he came, to accept everyone. Because as a Christian, Christians will prophesy. The gift of prophecy can be given to an unbeliever. The ones that can lay hands and heal, Christians can lay hands and heal. Other religions can also they can heal in one way or the other. Guess what? The atheists can also heal. They'll just give you medication of your headache. If you have psychosis, you know what they'll do for you? They'll do hypnosis for you.
Yeah.
In fact, what do they call that thing they do? Exorcism.
Exorcism.
Exorcism. Yeah, they'll do it for you now. Are they Christians? So everyone has the powers in different ways. But he just says, you know what, I acknowledge it.
Yes.
You guys have disregarded me in many ways. Just acknowledge me and everyone's fine.
And has it power to save?
Yes, it does.
Has it powered to deliver mankind from sin?
Yes, absolutely.
And I believe sin separated man from mankind. And I will put sin into a category of ignorance. What you don't know. Of course, these laws don't do, but most of them broke it in ignorance. And those who try to keep it is because they believe they know, or they know God, or they know the boundaries with God to keep it, or they walk within the the function of the conditioning to say, I dare not break this because of this measure that will be happening to it. So I have, once people understand, this level of knowledge extensively like you have, and shall I have friends, and because even you'd be surprised a lot people have a different perspective conclusively. But all for me, from my own perspective, like Solomon would say, too many knowledge, too many troubles. Knowledge is okay, but sometimes our ordinary human being mind can misfunction sometimes because of like, and which one again, this and that. But in a simple way, like Christ said, the simplicity of Christ, that I'm just among you human, live with you, just learn of me and live. So I believe in that simplicity of Christ. Whatever anybody want to know deeper about God, because also Christ talked about revelation. He will say to Peter, flesh and blood cannot tell you this, you must have received this. So he also talks about an higher knowledge which can come from Rhema, revelations, which means if I don't share at that time, you won't read this in any book. So revelation is real. He talked about it, and the thing he began to tell them, I'm coming back, this and that. Even the ordinary man at that time cannot believe it, but it will happen. John the beloved said a lot of things in Revelations that is even yet to come to pass is there. So there is no depth to what had happened in the past. Only few that our brain can comprehend, I would say. And there is no depth to what is yet to happen. That we're still going to say, what we thought we know, we don't even know at all. But what I know for sure, in rounding up, is, in my own opinion, and I believe you agree on that as well, that for now, Christ is, to me, is the pathway for God. He said is the way, the truth, and the life. And no wonder he said the way, because there are many God like you, many before him and all that, and with different representation. But he said no one else can come to the Father except through me. These are what he says, simplicity, in a simple way, as he said in the Bible. I agree with that as well. I don't know about you. Do you?
Yeah, I agree. But we'll share more.
We share more on that, and I'm willing to hear more on that. And and I believe enough time will come again that we're going to share this. Very interesting. In fact, you've challenged my knowledge today as well. I have to do a lot of listening because I respect your level of research and knowledge. Knowledge in any form is not a joke, and the good thing I just said to you is the fruit you show. If your fruit is of different thing, I will like, what is it saying? Instead of like, okay, no wonder. I'm not saying, I know you know God. I know you personally, but the fruit you show, God said, by their fruit you shall know. Your humanity, your kindness, your gentility, your humility, your sincerity, your hard work. Your fruit to show you exemplify someone that have understanding of human existence and the things that empower human to do well on earth as good, because you're doing so well, not just by productivity. As a person, everybody around you, very kind person, you have all the things that Jesus said, when you see these things, they know me. When people do these things, they know me. You understand? And you've been a very church activist all the time I've known you. So I just pray that your wisdom will keep increasing, and that your search for knowledge you keep finding, and then in all you find, you keep remaining. You keep remaining a blessing to this generation. Thank you so much, Don.
You're welcome
for having you in the time. Thank you so much.
All right.
Thank you so much. So friends, wow, it's been so much of an intensive episode today with Dante in the house. I believe a lot have been said, and I believe a lot you, my friend, will have to do a lot of research and researches as well to just concur with what he has said. These are facts, though hidden from mankind, but that's why I prompted him to mention those names and where you can get this as an as article or what will I say, for research knowledge, so you can get more knowledge. So please like, share, comment, and subscribe to this channel, and to follow our YouTube page is Olumide Lewis on YouTube. Again, till next time, it's bye for now. God bless.